Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. A warm welcome to everybody. We have, quite a few questions lined up, for the experts here. The first one, Gurpreet, this is coming to you. Are corporates today thinking of reducing CS cost? I've actually worked with corporates where we've seen a hockey stick kind of a growth. We've seen these organizations scaling up the business like 3x, 5x every quarter. Scaling up the CS teams at that same pace isn't wise at all. Gurpreet, what's your take on this?
Sorry, hi everyone. So my opinion and my thought is around, yes, if I were to answer in terms of reducing costs, I think the effort of most of the organizations across industries rather than purely reduce. And it's like any product you invest in, you would look for an ROI in that product. Customer support or customer experience strategies or processes or products, I think, is no exception for this. So companies today across industries are looking at an ROI out of customer experience. And thereby what has happened is a shift. Most of the industries or most of the companies which I see are in the phase of transitioning from a conventional customer support or customer experience service delivery model of providing a voice support or an email or any other channel to investing more in technologies. Technologies like Gen AI, technologies like chatbots, automation, emphasis on self-care, how to refine their workflows. Additionally, I would say there's a lot of emphasis on the process reengineering side as well. How effectively can I change the processes or simplify the processes for my customers so that the need of customer even contacting an auto in my opinion, towards optimization, investing at the right place as a long-term strategy by reaping the benefits of it.
Okay, so you definitely agree that cost optimization is important, right? And a lot of corporates are already thinking of it. The CX leader sometimes said that, hey, you got to manage the experience really well. The business is not going to stop growing. So this has been, I was just sharing this anecdote off the stage with one of these startups that I was working. The founder said, Fasih, मैं तेरे को सिर्फ 10 लड़के दूंगा. I'll just give you about 10 people, right? And you have to manage the entire experience part of it. And if there is 11th person required in your team, it means that my app isn't working really well and you have to challenge my app. And this was an UPI app, right? And UPI systems weren't ready at that point in time. And we continued to scale teams and later realized that we did not grow the CX teams at the pace at which the app was actually adding more and more people, more and more transactions. Right, coming to the next question, Priyaah, what are the options that CX leaders have that could be exercised to reduce cost?
Actually, I'll take a step back and say to all the leaders here, especially leading CX. Sorry, is it? Am I audible? So, it has to be that it's not a cost center, it's an experience center. So keep that singular objective in your secondary service. There you get an extra customer or a repeat customer. So with that objective, I'm going to kind of on top of my mind talk about some of the initiatives which have been proven that they are going to be beneficial. For example, Look at your, I think I couldn't agree more with Gurpreet, process re-engineering. How are we making it difficult or easy for the customer? Are we empowering our frontline to take a decisions? You can have all those check mechanisms at the back end saying that, oh, I waived off a fee. You just need to have the check mechanism at the hindsight, right? But don't make it a bureaucratic thing. No, only a supervisor will do, only a supervisor will solve, the frontline will not solve. Obviously, this whole crowd here, I'm sure we all know IVR, we all know AIs, we all know the chatbots of the world. But small things that can really lead up to huge savings, I would say. Training. Can we look at skill sets which can be cross-trained? Trust me, I have implemented in our own vertical. Let's say there are two processes. One is simpler and other one is super simple. Can I just cross-train both the bunch of people and bring in efficiency? The answer. Some offline work injected during the time that the person is not taking calls. Just one example. Look at your hours, flexible hours where we can have part-timers, which doesn't load your manpower cost, but you have them when you need them. For example, some of the use cases I can say, especially in travel world, your disruption is usually around July monsoon and then let's say December. So wherever you're working, whether you're working at the airports or the call centers, we know these are a couple of peak periods where there is a disruption that's going to happen. Can I plug in extra manpower there? Can I plug in something different there? Use AIs or the bots to do your run-of-the-mill job. I think that's far easier. And use your human beings, your valued human resources to scale them up to do a more intelligent or a meaningful task, I would say. Look at offshoring as one of your reducing costs, right? There are companies which says, okay, we are experts in running call centers. And the moment you say CS, everybody looks at call center, right? So look at offshoring some of your run-of-the-mill business. Can someone else do that for you at a lesser cost, as a lesser maintenance?
Fantastic, Priyaah.
Yeah, two of them are there. And obviously, I just want to extend, because I'm very passionate about training. I think the better you train your frontline, the lesser is the cost of getting the same customer back.
Fantastic. I completely agree. You don't have to get repeat customers. You know,
Exactly.
Customers asking the same question or customers coming
Just
with
one
a
last
solution.
thing.
Yeah.
In your customer journey, if you can just look at the pain areas and start communicating to the customer proactively, that totally reduces your cost. So effective communication is one part of it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Priyaah. So, Bajit, would you like to add what options we have, from a technology standpoint?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, all. I think I cannot agree more what Priyaah said in terms of do not reduce cost at the cost of your customer experience. I think that's the first thing that we need to look at. Are we doing it right? Are we doing it good for the user, as in the experience? Today, in today's world, I think it's more about the experience that matters. It is not about a timely delivery, but it is, I think, about the way it is being done, the way the user gets that experience from a delivery guy or from a fintech personnel or a loan getting disbursed or an e-commerce platform or a travel platform anywhere. Now, in terms of cost, I think we should not reduce cost in terms of the experience part, but yes, as Priyaah said, AIs, bots, self-care. I think it's a huge thing nowadays. I think self-care FAQs, we can make fantastic FAQs wherein the user can get, or customer can get everything at their fingertips, and the user's answers will be resolved. We see that there are a lot of things in the making wherein when we try to say that no, this, and there's a small disclaimer that goes, is the issue resolved? You said you either give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. No. Now the FAQ is not trained that way. I think we should train our bots. We should train our FAQ models, which will actually enhance the customer experience, because he or she will get the answers that needs to be answered. He or she will not go back unanswered and again wait for a call center guy to pick up a call or a chat or an email to get his queries resolved. And I think one more thing which is coming up in the market and very much which we are trying to do is, with volume, we are into fintech, so we have like millions of users who writes to us or calls us on a daily basis. It's not humanly possible to keep on offshoring, outsourcing, or keeping in-house people to address those queries. And even if I address those queries, what about the quality? What about the quality assurance? Is my agent doing the right thing on the call? Is he abusive on the call? Is he irritated? Is he getting rude when he's asking money from a customer who's not paid for some time? So I think these things, the entire quality initiative can be optimized by a lot of fantastic tools that has come in the market now and are in play, especially like text-to-speech, wherein we can convert the entire call of the user into a text-to-speech model, and we can actually train the model in such a manner that the gap between a human audit and the bot audit comes down to a minimal. We have done that, I think, and it has given excellent results. And this engine actually has helped reducing a cost of almost 35% in our quality assurance department. So I think these specific cohorts need to be addressed, and not the entire cost part and कि मुझे कुछ करना ही नहीं है, मुझे देना ही नहीं है, मुझे agent hire ही नहीं करना है. I think that's where we should have a fine balance in
Fantastic,
the entire ballgame.
Subhajit. I think very nice points brought up, Priya and Subhajit. I definitely agree. It should never be called as a cost center. An experience center is a better term. Omni-Channel, Dhira, this has been the buzzword. What are your thoughts on this? How does it fit into a CX landscape?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I guess I'm audible to everyone. Yeah. See, today in this digital world, offering a customer seamless experience across touchpoint is very crucial. Omni-channel plays a bigger role in business successes. They tend to integrate your mobile, your web, and your physical store, giving a unified customer experience. The goal is basically to meet the customer where they are and ensuring there is a consistent and a personalized journey for the customer. Consumers these days, if you see, they tend to, have a purchase journey across multiple channels. For instance, a customer can start researching on mobile, continue the journey on desktop, and then complete the journey at a physical store. This basically demands having a transition between all the channels without any disruption in the information and the service that the customer gets. It also depends on the TG as well. There are certain customers who would only want to have on a website. They would never want to go on a physical store, experience the product and everything. So you basically need to understand who your TG is, what are the demands of your TG. Are they more of a customer who wants to experience, go to a store, spend some time and then buy a product, or it is only someone who just wants to, it is an ease that they want. So I would say it is a buzz, but companies who are very strong in omni-channel, they have a higher rate of customer retention compared to the ones who doesn't have it. Yes, it does come with its own challenges, but if you have a robust technological systems in place, you have talents in place, this can be addressed, and it is the buzzword, and businesses can become a game changer if you have an omni-channel presence. Yeah.
There are a very nice point brought up, right? If you have to force your customers to actually go and shop in a way that the organization wants, then you got to see that a lot of customers will start leaving you. But if you start giving them options that hey, you know what, it's a Myntra website, but you also have a Myntra app, and then you also have a self-service, and then you also have a callback that you can make. Right, and all of these things, combined, I think it's a good point that you brought up. Girish, what is your take on the same question?
Thanks, Abbas. I think I'll take a step back because most of my panelists are from customer success and they talk about cost, stuff and all, right? But I take a step back because I'm from product
Girish,
and
could you be a little louder, please?
I hope I'm audible now. So I'll take a step back. So I would look at, we come from a CPaaS background. For us, very important is how we are going to simplify the omni-channel experience for the brands, right? That's very important for us. So I always look at the concept of living, breathing framework. That is where I feel it's very, because it's basically between a market and consumer need, which is evolving on a regular basis, right? As you speak, right, you were talking about website, app. Customers are moving away from one channel to other channel. How we are going to seamlessly connect to all these channels, at the end, make sure that the user have the better experience and wherever the touch points are, right? So today, CPaaS, you can look at CPaaS as a complex, where it's trying to simplify the complex technology into one interface, basically one
Sorry,
APIs.
Girish, I'm interrupting here. Would you want to just elaborate what CPaaS is?
CPaaS stands for...
You come from a technological
Yeah,
background,
that
and
makes
it's a little
very
difficult
important.
for the audience.
So we are from a communication technology, and CPaaS stands for Communication Platform as a Service. So what we do is that we enable APIs for the brands to seamlessly connect with the end user. That's where we add the value. We sit at the back end. We are like a springboard, we can call. We can think as a springboard, right? We give a life for an enterprise at the back end. We enable things via APIs, by conversation engagement platform kind of stuff, right? So that's what we bring in on the table. So it is very easy today, if you see, right, I would say that customer can start with one channel, and we provide a layer. That layer can add additional channel like WhatsApp, chatbot, right? Whichever channel you are trying to go about it. That's the intelligence what we bring at the back end and try to simplify. Okay? And if you look today, right, the way a brand would like to connect with the customer, right? So let's take an example that you want to start a user, you want to start tracking at a entry point of a user, okay? And ma'am was telling me that, Girish, like, this is where we do AI kind of stuff, okay? Chatbots are there. But yeah, how do you really improve upon that? How do you really make sure that the consumer experience are getting better day by day, right? You're going to try. A few of my panelists also mentioned that how you are going to add value to those aspects. That's where we sit at the back end. We educate, we train on a regular basis. Every interaction which is happening on the application at the back end, right? We have the AI layer on the application layer as well as the cloud layer. We keep interacting on a regular basis and trying to simplify the entire journey of the user.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks. Shubhajit, another question, again, your favorite thing on technology. What are the cutting edge technologies which are shaping up this omni-channel experience, according to you?
Super fine technologies has come in the market. I would, there's so many loads actually. But I think in an omni-channel, as Girish said, and everybody agrees, we need to understand. So basically, a very important part in any omni-channel journey of an user is a CDP or a customer data platform. What are we doing with the data that we are getting from these channels? It can be WhatsApp, it can be web, it can be social media, it can be any other forms, as in direct customer interactions with the stores. What data are we getting? I think at the heart of any omni-channel technology lies the fact what data we are collating from all these sources. It can be virtual reality, it can be augmented reality. Obviously, e-commerce business knows all these terms more in terms of augmented reality. They're placing a suitcase in a way wherein how it will look, a furniture, how it will look. So all these data points that we are collecting from these sources, from these channels, needs to go in through a journey. These are the atoms and molecules that we create to profile an user. So for example, what an user buys at what point in time of a month or a year. Maybe Diwali, what type of gifts an user buys. What time a customer pays. What time a customer goes ahead and maybe pays more than what is expected. What time a customer goes overdue. Or what time a retail store gives these types of offers. Big billion days, whatever, e-commerce. Every user journey has to be profiled, and in the CDP platform is what we do. In omni-channel business, we cater to all these minute queries, put it into a platform, and post that, we go ahead and target those specific cohorts, which actually reduces your cost also. Now, if I know when my customer picks up a call, I will not call my customer at a certain point or the entire day. That reduces my cost of calling. That reduces my cost of my CS. Now that cost center also comes down. If I know when a customer repays, what date, because I know that he's repaying it as a trend, I will not go ahead and call him again, sir, aapka kal payment due, aap payment karenge. No, I will not do that. I am not wasting my resources on that because I know that this is a pattern that it is being followed. Every human being has a pattern. Every customer has a pattern. We need to just connect the dots of these patterns in the omni-channel business. And all these tools, IoT, VR, AR, Gen AI, all these tools are only facilitating us to cohort them in such a manner and then go ahead and approach in different versions, in different ways, giving them specific offers at specific time of the day, month, year, week, whatever. And that's how we can actually have a balance, reduce cost, and also enhance the customer experience.
Yeah, thanks,
that's what it
Shubhajit.
is.
I think Shubhajit, you brought up a nice point, you know. Just having technologies work for you for the CS teams and driving experience is not going to happen. You got to be continuously training them. You got to be continuously feeding in the right kind of data, and that's really important. That brings me, you know, on to the next question, which is also related to data. Gurpreet, to you. You know, I personally have seen that, you know, there are tons of data that is available with the CS teams, and the product teams reach out to us, the marketing team teams reach out to us, and they say, hey, could you tell us, you know, what's happening? You know, what are our customers talking about? What are they feeling? What are they talking about these ads? What are they talking about these new launches that we've made? What are they talking about the product experience? So Gurpreet, what is your take on this? You know, does leveraging data analytics and use of AI, does that really help in understanding the customer better? And does that actually help us actually share good feedback to product teams and the other teams which are inside the organization?
Yes, so there are two parts to it. One is the data which you capture as part of delivering your entire operations process. So I belong to e-commerce industry. In the operations ecosystem, we basically measure the data points across the entire order lifecycle journey as you travel. So right from the time the customer is trying to place an order till the time, you know, he has chosen to return, and thereby a refund has happened in the system. First part to data analytics, in my opinion, is that before you get on to analyze data or have your reports and various dashboards in place, the objective, what you are drawing out of that data, I think that's the most important key. What will be your takeaway when you have analyzed? Yes, you rightly said that there's tons of data available in the system. What are you interpreting? What is your takeaway from that data needs to be first of all clarified, right? And thereby you then go on to create your views, your dashboards, which will give you a clear picture in terms of what your voice of process or voice of operations is telling you, which even before the customer tells you, you should be aware of that, right? That is one. The second thing, and that's something which is close to my heart, and I often propagate that within the organization also, is the point that, and it's no-brainer that the term which is most abused when analyzing data is average, okay, the mean of everything, right? So I think there's a conscious effort which we make to move away from looking at a metric or any kind of data from an average standpoint and start looking at more from a percentile standpoint, okay, to identify defects at each leg, right? And in my entire operations or an order life cycle journey, which are those failure points, which I could curb. So these are two thoughts around data analytics, how they help from an internal standpoint. The other part of it, which is your external VOC, which is coming from your NPS surveys or from your entire contact center ecosystem. I think that VOC needs to be somewhere married and gelled with whatever I've collected internally, and thereby those process recommendations and the need of augmenting experience should be there, right?
Thank you so much, Gurpreet. Kazi, you worked with some of the biggest brands in the startup world. You worked with Udaan, you worked with Flipkart, you're working with Paytm. Data analytics and AI, how has it been close to your heart? Has it really helped in driving a better experience, understanding customer preferences, passing on good feedback to your internal teams?
Hi, morning everyone. Okay. I'm not sure, everyone can hear me? Yeah, okay. Great, morning everyone. Fasih, I think most pointers are related to analytics, data, predictive analytics.
Probably you could try the other mic. It's not very clear. Your voice isn't clear.
Now?
Better, yeah. Okay.
Thanks. So, I think if you had to look at, everyone's covered most segments part of it, which is really, and we'll try and go through the journey of how data, how analytics works with technology and starts giving you the right feedback that you want to go. Okay. First step first, you basically when you start talking about cost, I'll start from there. Cost is the primary criteria that people try looking at as to why and how we need to reduce. A great point Subhajit made. Don't look at cost as just a number, right? Start looking at where the problem starts. That's your RCA. Your RCA basically says, if I have X number of contacts, I need to have Y number of agents. My problem area is not the agents, my problem area is the contacts that's coming in. So I go back to basics. Can I solve the contact region for it? How do I solve contacts? Contacts are driven by failures, pain. I call it pain index, and some people relate to it who are from Flipkart here. We call it pain index because predominantly, everyone speaks about experience, but experience is a reverse theory when you look at it. If you reduce pain, you're increasing experience. How do I reduce pain? My basics are, can I put things in place for the user to have a seamless journey? And this is where it comes down to omni-channels, giving automations and responses to numerous theories of vanilla cases. Can I just get the order information? Can I make the payment go through? Will my my payments are stuck? Can I get those vanilla cases out of my pipe, right? That's taken care of. And that predominantly is, in Indian industry, 65% of your queries. The next comes is the rest, whatever that you require. I'll only calculate 35%, I'll leave the 10% for escalations. The 35% is where human touch is really, really required. And this is a transition phase that we all talk about. How do you identify this out? This is analytics. Now you start using analytics to identify, and I'll give an easy example. Let's pick up e-commerce. We spoke about e-commerce, so even BFSI for that matter. A customer journey is understood from the time the person hits the API, that's your first app or the web page. Search history is available for you. You have trends and patterns of shopping that the person experiences. The person does not buy a product, puts it in the cart and leaves it there. Why? The person is waiting for your Diwali sale to happen so that the person can buy it. You have predictive analytics that actually helps you understand what should I be putting it in front of the user to make sure this problem doesn't come for that individual. Can I make it, and one of the pointers that I think it was very clearly spoken about, proactive communications, right? Great part. Does that help? Absolutely it does. Because the more the customer is informed, the lesser the person comes to you. So you're kind of connecting all the dots out, and the last bit, favorite topic, touch to be there, transition between bots, AIs, Gen AI, you name it, GPT, anything for that matter, to human. This part is one problem that I don't think everyone's been able to really solve it out completely. But if you're able to identify where is the problem and where should I do it, how do I do this? This is very, very clear. Start understanding your Uber metrics versus your North Star metrics better. Great theory on percentile. Absolutely right. Averages don't give you the right response. Percentiles do. Because it basically tells you that you have a 90th percentile customer who is going through a pain that an average 50th percentile customer doesn't go through. So when you start drifting away from just looking at standard metrics to actual Uber pain metrics, life changes out entirely. Last bit, of course, the training bits of it. Agents, focus on them appropriately. Because human touch is not going to die. Please keep that in mind. Technology and innovations can help you reduce, can help you improve. But when it comes down to some of the experience that you really require, whether it's telecom, whether it is BFSI, whether it's aviation, any industry for that matter, please remember there is always going to be a human touch that is required. And that is the problem statement that you really can't solve out by a system. I can't give empathy to a system. I can teach the system, but it's going to take me a little while to do that, right? I'm not averse of technology, but I'm averse to the fact that I don't have enough time to teach. It's ML, right? Machine learning is going to take a little while. It's use cases being taught to it every day. So
yeah,
yes.
that's really nice, Qazi. I like the way you put it step by step, and that was really nice. We have a child in us, even though we are leaders in our own space, and AI is something which is really happening, and everybody is trying their hands on it. And if something really comes out of AI and you've been successful, you feel wow about it. It makes you feel just like that child ke, Papa maine ye kar diya, oh wow, ye bana diya maine. And this is what a lot of the CX leaders are today going through. They are trying their hands on AI. But there are success stories, and I would like to come to Vijay. Vijay, could you share a success story of your organization where you've implemented AI and there's something beautiful that has come out?
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Right, so at CRED, we are largely investing our time and efforts in exploring what AI could bring in about difference and how it could influence experience, right? And out of that endeavor, what we've been able to pull off very recently are a couple of projects. Some of them are in the POC state, and some of them are in progress, and some of them have been able to successfully fly. One of such solutions that we've built is in customer support. Of course, in our case, 90% of our contacts are taken care of by bot already. There is, of course, a lot of work going on in terms of how we can further optimize the experience there, because there's this BS engine that we're building and all of that. But yeah, we'll come to that a little later. But yeah, of course, for those contacts which spill over and the contacts are established to a contact center, there's a lot of effort in one agent noting down the summary of the call, right? And that just takes away a lot of effort. And even with that kind of an effort and time, the agents do not accurately summarize the call, right? Because that's not really a critical part of their job. That's where the AI solution comes into picture, where using some of the solutions that we've been talking about, such as the speech-to-text sort of a solution and LLM solutions, we've been able to summarize the entire call in a nutshell, right? And that sort of takes away the entire effort from the agent, where he doesn't have to really worry about the notes or remembering what the conversation was all about, but rather just focus on just the conversation, right? And AI in the background is noting down everything, right? And at the end, it sort of gives you a brief summary of what this call is all about. Now, let's just talk about how this sort of works out in our favor, right? In multiple different ways. One is for the next agent, it gives a very clear context, right? Maybe at this point in time, if we had to just simply rely on the notes that the previous agent had noted down, maybe the context is entirely missing. But with this summarization as a solution, the entire context is available just at a click of a button, right? That is one. And there are times when things might probably go wrong, and people might want to just do an RC and understand what actually went wrong. Summarization comes in very handy even in that case, right?
Sure.
You can just look at the ticket and the summary is just...
Sure, got it. Do you have any more things to add on to this, Vijay?
Yeah, so I was getting there. So we leverage the same technology to even build something called as a, somebody already spoke about auto QA, right? Where we are able to evaluate the call. So we already have this technology. All that we have to do is train the engine to identify what went well on the call and what did not go so well, right? And with this technology, so there's a lot of effort from QAs in order to sort of sit there and evaluate each parameter and therefore generate a result, right? And that too on a small sample of about just 3 to 4%. But with this technology, we've been able to automate the entire evaluation. and gives us result which not just gives us an indication of how well we are doing, but it also helps us bring in a very effective TNI, which further translates into our training, like you were focusing on training. There are technologies which help you build training modules just with the help of AI, right? So this is how we've been able to leverage it.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing that. Gurpreet, I would love to hear something from you. Is there a success story that you want to share?
Yeah, so we are at the stage where, as an organization, we are just still experimenting with the new technologies, Gen AI, to be precise. Ours, in terms of success stories, have largely been automations based on workflows, right? And I'm going to talk about two. One is the enhancement in our self-care ecosystem, wherein, initially the journey started from automating workflows which were linear in nature, which are pure queries about an order or a return or a refund. So which covered around, at that point of time, we went phase by phase to start with about 10 to 15% of those use cases were covered. Going on, what we also were able to do over a period of time was to cover a lot of exceptional scenarios which are non-linear, or in layman terms, complaints kind of scenarios, wherein some kind of questions were also asked. Again, forced questions based on workflows. Today, I'll proudly put that number where, in terms of if I were to put a percentage around number of complaints or percentage of complaints raised through self-care, at one point of time used to sit around 15-20%. Today, we are sitting at a healthy about 50-55% of the complaints coming through that channel. Okay. One is that. The other one is chatbot, which will eventually lead to the Gen AI phase. Currently, the chatbot, primarily uses the workflow model only. But again, as I say, we started with about a coverage of 5%, 10% use cases. Over the last 2-3 years, we've been able to clock a number of 55-60%
Sure.
in terms of deflection from a conventional channel to a chatbot.
Yeah, I think it's a very vast topic. It starts with automations, and then your AI comes into picture, and it goes on, and there are so many things that we can speak. Moving on to the next question, Priyaah, do you really feel that the customer insights actually help in shaping up CX strategy? Do they actually influence the product of the organization? What is your take on that?
Absolutely. I think, absolutely. Listening to customer very keenly, taking that feedback, no matter which department has to work, I think the art lies in how we are listening. I think I take immense pride in sharing one of the current experiences, what we read through our data, through our feedback analysis. I'm in travel industry and I've been here for 25 years now in this space. So very clearly, when you all also travel, what is that one anxious moment that you have when you book? What if my plans get changed? Airline 3,000 rupees charge karega, international anything 10,000 and above, right? So the anxious part is that cancellation fee, right? And over, when we look at a detractors, and somebody really very well brought it out, don't look at averages, look at your percentiles, look at your detractors. What are they talking about? Two themes came out. People are not happy with the cancellation charges, fair enough. We can't do anything. Trust me, as an OTA, we are just saying, here is the airline, you pick and choose, here are the cancellation charges, we have communicated, we did a good job. But when you shell out that money, customer is upset. Now, we did a reverse part of it. We said, okay, here are two products that we actually rolled out in the market, bases the feedback, right? And obviously the health condition. Somebody is not well in our family, I cannot travel. Very humanitarian ground one should be taking, right? So we came up with two products. One is MediCancel. So even today, it's pretty much alive. You log on to Cleartrip, make a reservation. And unfortunately, if someone has fallen ill in your family, you can bank on us. We have your back. All we need to have is that medical certificate, and that's it. And probably that person is not even a traveler. Imagine taking anxiety out of you. We really created a lot of affinity. There was another product where you can pay and subscribe for our, one of the product where we say flexible cancellation and change. And it's not for medical reasons. It's just that an event got canceled, now no more you are traveling. We have your back. I mean, just at a nominal charge, you kind of subscribe for that product, and here you go. So actually we saw
Fantastic, Priyaah. I'm so sorry I'm pausing you with a couple of more questions to be asked, Priyaah, but this is a wonderful example that you shared. I wasn't aware of this facility being available. I'm going to come back to you on this. Okay, just moving on. Vijay, what is your take on this?
I think customer insights pretty much play a very vital role, right? They are the very premise on which entire CX strategy sort of operates. And we can do a lot of difference in terms of what we could actually influence in an organization as well. And I can talk about some of the wonderful things we've been able to do and some of the very interesting insights that have come out, right? One is that we were largely an asynchronous channel all this while. And we were continuously studying customer insights, and that's when we came across a theme that customers, of course, don't want to be on any synchronous support, right? They want to talk to a human, and therefore get a support. But at the same time, at that time, it was very easy for us to make a strategy to say that, okay, let's just open up a communication channel, a number where customers could dial. But that would take away a lot of goodness that's coming from even the bots that we have set up, right? So we did another customer insight study where we found out that a lot of other customers are also happy about having a self-serve option, right? All that they had a feedback about is that, hey, just make some changes to it and optimize it and we will be happy, right? So therefore we came up with a strategy that, hey, rather than just giving a number, why not just let them explore the bot?
Absolutely.
And if we are able to get an answer well and good, otherwise we are here. We will
Absolutely.
Just help you out, right?
I think Vijay and Priyaah, I completely agree with you. These are some of the CX strategies changes that have happened, and I completely agree on the fact that, it should not be assumed that this is how we want to position our CX platform or the business that we conduct, right? It should also be, data driven, and that's a very beautiful example that you shared. Okay, let's move on. Girish, how do you decode this data, I mean, there's so much of data, there's so much of insights coming in from customers, but how do you actually shape it up? How do you actually decode and say that these are the right things, these are the inferences?
Sure. Since the time is running out, I'll try to cover a couple of things, right? I think one...
In about a minute, Girish, yes.
Yeah. So one, obviously capturing the customer feedback and then decoding it. It's fair simple, right? You will have to... One is meticulously handle how to map all the customer journey, okay, on all the Omni-Channels, okay, and make sure that you log, you track, and immediately respond, make sure that the customers get valued for all this input. It's very clear, right? And decoding it's very important, as Sir clearly mentioned, right? You will have to really slap it out, basic, advanced, and then predictive analytics, right? It clearly tells you that what happened, okay, what I have to take, what actions I have to take, okay, if I take this action, what is going to happen, is going to impact or not, right? So I'm going to cover quickly on the use cases, Abbas, okay? So we are the largest enable of metro tickets on WhatsApp today, right? What we do is the entire booking tickets, okay, is being handled at the back end in our system. Okay, my colleague Praveen is going to present immediately after this as an elevator pitch, which is going to talk about how we have handled the entire journey by enabling the tool where enterprise can easily do the orchestration, journey builder, the entire conversation engagement layers, right? Similarly, we are one of the largest processor of payment, native payment on WhatsApp. Right?
Okay.
And similarly,
so,
we also...
Girish, in the interest of time, what you're saying is there's a front end to it and there's also a back end to it. What your colleague is going to present is maybe the front ends of how the UI looks like, what are the journeys that are getting built. But this also comes from data. And when the customers are actually using your platform, then there's data on the other side. Thank you so much, Girish. And just moving on, in about a minute's time, Dhira, if you could talk about how do we balance automations and use of customer service executives?
Yeah. So actually, whenever there should be a blend is what I would say. And while there is a blend, you also need to know whether your business is ready for automation. AI these days, because we all use CRMs, I guess all our CRMs have the capability of, having AI integrated. So just because you need an AI, just don't go for an AI is what I would say. See if your business is ready for AI. Are your customers, ready for AI? If you're catering to customers of tier 2, I would not say even tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, they are not ready for AI, as per the Indian market. So you need to know where, why, and when to have an AI. Secondly is, AI can excel in your speed and consistency. You can have AI chatbots during a non-business hours where customers can come, have a routine queries, get it resolved. But when it comes to complex issues, I would say that have an agent who has an emotional touch to it, who has empathy and intuitions to it. Yeah.
Sure, fantastic. Thanks, Dhira. Kazi, over to you. And in about a minute's time, right, Kazi, we all agree that it's not going to be 100% automation with any organization. What is your take on this? How much should it be, and what should be the balance?
Fairly, I think it's a call that drives what stage your organization's at. It's important for you to understand, are you in for automation? Are you in and capable enough to probably take that and drive on? Please remember, automation or implementation of any PaaS, SaaS, pick it up the way you want it, right? If it's product as a service or software as a service, irrespective of it, are you capable enough to understand, innovate, metricize each of it, and take it forward? Because remember, fine-tuning is always required in any PaaS or any SaaS industry, right? You always, because you're going to customize it for yourself. So it's a fair balance between what's important and how much it's important. We'll go with the technology first, innovate with matrices, innovate with understanding and fine-tuning. And lastly, of course, my agents are going to be my most go-to people at the end of the day, because that human touch can never go away. I would want to keep that there always, and that's what industry stands for.
There was a very nice point about transition that you were speaking, when to actually switch between, automations and CS executives. Would you want to explain that to the audience? That was a lovely point.
Sure. So I think this is one part that we've been always wanting to practice, understand if I can, I'm still innovating,
Kazi,
so I'll keep it.
I've got an alert, 30 seconds.
I know, 30 seconds. I'm going to take 30 seconds. Okay. So one of the use cases, and I'll simply quote this out entirely. The customer comes in to the bot, speaks to the bot, identifies and says, my payment gateway is stuck, my payment's stuck right now, and I need to make this payment because I'm standing at the hospital. The standard answer by the bot would be is wait for 48 hours because NPCI says you can't do anything about it. Here is where transition makes a lot of difference. You identify a pain index which the customer is going through, pass it on to an agent who can give an empathy touch, go back if required on the bot. And we spoke about it just about half an hour ago, that in the insurance industry today, we're trying to see if I can send the bot conversation to an agent, an underwriter. Underwriter processes, sends it back to the bot and closes the conversation.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us and making it really insightful, wonderful to everybody. Thank you, Quantic.